Hey guys, we're going to continue with this little series of videos we've been doing on how to winterize your house, simple ways. And we're going to change gears just a little. We're going to come inside the house and we're going to talk about the return airflow vent, which is typically, you just don't talk about that much, but it really does play an important part of the whole process of your heating unit and cool as well. One thing I want to talk about is just how much actually comes through this vent. When you go through the house and say you hadn't dusted in a week or so, and you see the buildup on there, and actually that's what's being pulled back through here. So as you can see with this one, it's got a lot of stuff on it, and that's just over a period of time too. But that's an example of what's being pulled back up into there. Actually, everything that goes through that goes back up into the furnace. It goes in cool, it goes into the furnace, it gets reheated, it goes through the filter, and then back out into your vents. The filter is, that's important, you filter, because, it depends on what, system you got. You got some of these filters, they're like an inch thick, or some are bigger, and those things get filled up with stuff pretty quick. I wouldn't go maybe 6 weeks on a typical filter just because it just gets built up. And the thing is, that filter catches a lot of it. It doesn't catch all of it. And it's going to go through there. And one of the things is to think about is as that filter gets more stuffed up with stuff, that your system's working harder to get the airflow out, which is putting more of a strain on your system. So think about that. Also, a lot of people, if they're not in using a room very much, they close the door or they close the vent. Closing the door's no big deal, but closing the vent can really cause you a problem, because what you're doing is you've got your gauge set at you want it at 72. So the system is going to put the air out to get your room at 72 degrees. But if you have one of the rooms blocked off, that air is not going into that room and it's coming back into the vents, which actually builds a pressure up because it's not allowing it just to flow through the system like it's designed to do. So think about that. If you don't use a room very often, close it down to about where it's just 25%, but don't close it all the way. Just let there be a little air flow and go through it, which will help your system run better. So, all right, now back to the vents. What we're going to do is just take these off real quick. And I've already got that one loose. Out. Okay, so you see, you've got some built up here. It's really not that bad, but you can see all the dust and stuff that gets in there. Guys, let me show you a little way to test to see if your return valve's working. So get your little high-tech piece of toilet paper right there. Just put it about 6 inches away, and as you can see, it's pulling that way. So a real easy way to check, see if your return vent is working, and just a piece of toilet paper. That's pretty good. But it is working, which is great. And what you can do is, when the system's on, make sure it's on, you can go through all the different vents in your house and do the same test to see if you're getting the airflow that you need, which is good. But I think it's still important to get these things cleaned out every so often, because more or less when you're talking here, you're talking about long term as far as the way I had to think about this, for the longevity of how long your heating system, cooling system works. So that's important. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take it off, and you can see there is dust and stuff built up in there. So like I said, I don't know if I've ever cleaned this before, so it'll be the first time I'm doing it also. And then see, you got all the dust built up in here, and that's this stuff being pulled in through the vent. So it's good. You get your little shop vac and just get as much out as you can here. You can do the same here, and just make sure you get it on both sides. there. But what you really want to do, once you get the stuff out, wash it. Put it in the sink with soap and water and get a little scrub brush and just really scrub through the vents, get it good and clean right there. Then let it dry. Now, if you want to, and it's totally fine to do that, if you want to like spruce it up, make it look nicer, you can do a spray paint on it, do a metal spray on it. I would check with some of the different hardware places and talk with them about what would be the best spray to put on this. So I would do that before you put it back on. Another thing about these vents, you'll have several all through the house. If all possible, don't block them. Like a lot of times you see them behind furniture, under a bed, behind a bed. You'll see boxes stacked in front of them. If you can all possible, don't do that because you're interrupting the flow of your system, which again puts a little more wear and stress on the system. So again, you're talking more of a thing long term that'll build up, but it will affect eventually the way your furnace or air conditioner works. So that's, I think, a good idea to do. So what we'll do is we'll get this thing cleaned up really good. I'm gonna vacuum through here, get that nice and clean. And then once I get all that done, I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so we got that vacuumed out pretty good. Like I said, you can't reach too far in there, but still. All right, also, we got the vent cleaned up. I think it turned out a lot better. You see the debris and all that's out from it, both sides. Now, I will say, on the vents, what you also can do is you can just have them replaced. You just go ahead and get you a new one, and especially because this one's old. So I think that's what we're going to do is we're just going to replace them. And the cost isn't that bad. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do like a couple at a time, so it really won't be a factor. And you can find these on like Amazon. You can go to some of the other hardware stores and see what you want to do is you want to measure it, get the dimensions on it, and then as you're looking, you'll know exactly what you need. So, you know, my wife says I say so a lot, so I guess I'll try to quit saying so. So, you put it back on. I did it again. Get it on. You'll just put your screws back in. And then we'll screw that back in. You know, this is like the 4th video we've done on improving the house for winterizing. And if you hadn't seen it, I've got 3 others, and I'll put a link in here so you can see those if you want to go back or for the first time and leading up to what we're doing here. And we continue, we're going to do a few more of these too. Hey, guys, I really hope these are helping you a lot. We're going to be doing, like I said, a few more of these. And if it is helping you, please hit like or subscribe, and we'll see you next time.